All right, welcome back after that music break. The breakfast show continues. We're going to take a look at some stories on social media. Zaglin,
Yes, there has been a press release from the government, deputy government spokesperson, Prince Bokar Aminata Sankano. You
wow.
know, um, it has to do with the President Barrow's auditors speculation, auditors chaos,
Wow.
saying the press release said President Barrow has utmost faith in auditors. The statement by His Excellency, the President, that auditors express various types of audit opinions on financial statements should neither be misconstructed as Mr. Barrow, trivializing the important work of auditors, nor diminishing their crucial contribution in defining and shaping accountability mechanisms in the public financial management sphere. President Barrow was merely describing the accountability procedure in a democratic dispensation, which obviously requires that the audit mechanism be followed by rigorous investigative processes to confirm facts and key observations highlighted in an audit finding. Therefore, drawing conclusions based on the President's interview that government is not adequately following up on allegations of financial mismanagement or misconduct is preposterous and without substance. On the contrary, the President, the government, the Barrow government, through the relevant institutions, has demonstrated and continues to uphold the requisite political will to thoroughly investigate alleged transgressions and credible cases of suspected misappropriations of funds highlighted in audit reports. The commitment to further strengthen accountability and oversight institutions is evident in government's effort to work with the legislature in passing an anti-corruption bill, a revised public finance bill, a state-owned enterprise bill, and a national audit amendment bill. I mean, and President Barrow also Mr. Barrow made it categorically clear that where accounting officers in charge of ministries, departments, agencies, or public corporations are found wanting by an audit report, they will be held accountable for their actions, including full prosecution for any occurrence of fraud, embezzlement of malfinances. Also, persons holding political or public office who convey or collide in abuse, misuse, or misappropriation of public funds contrary to the law and existing regulations will be held accountable. This is what the press release is saying, that President Barrow I did not mean, for those that concluded that the interview is, the government is not adequately following up on allegations of financial mismanagement or misconduct is preposterous and without substance. Because nobody knows anyone. Okay, since it is just my opinion, perhaps that is why the government is not following up on all these allegations of mismanagement of funds that is going in many institutions in the Gambia. Yeah, perhaps comme ñom non lañ ko gisé comme ñu fi den waxé rek mom ñu ko waxé ak ñeneen ñu koy
exactly moo tax ma doon waxee noonu dañ ko jël out of context ni mu waxee ak fi nit ñi gisee tam du nekk benn soo ko laajee loolu la moom and then clarification su la gars yi nekk di joxe fu mu nekk nii.
Yeah, most definitely. And man, I said it like maybe I said it this morning, that yesterday, that definitely the Gambia government is going to release a press statement, regarding this. Now, moving on, NPP has filed about 19 nominees yesterday at the Brickham Area Council, but it seems they have been accused of something. I think the internet is kind of failing me right now, that the incumbent councillor challenged the eligibility of the NPP's Santed Ward candidate, saying she's not Gambian. That is Kenda Esba, arguing that she's not a Gambian citizen and thus she's not eligible to contest in the elections.
Wow.
Yeah, let it load a little bit. I think the internet is kind of failing me right now. But nonetheless, let's discuss about the eligibility of anyone, that is the nationality of some people. I think sometimes, okay, it's here now.
Okay.
Now, Hamadi Tamba is the incumbent councillor of the Sintet Ward.
Sintet.
Okay, Sintet. Thank you. Has written a petition to the Independent Electoral Commission contesting the eligibility of the National People's Party's candidate for the Sintet ward Penda Esba, arguing that she is not a Gambian citizen and thus not eligible to contest in the elections. Hamadi submitted his petition to the Independent Electoral Commission few hours after Penda Esba was nominated at the IEC regional office in Brikama. Councillor Tamba was elected under the APRC ticket and is now seeking re-election under the No to Alliance independent ticket. He said, I write to express my concern over the qualification of Penda Esba, who is aspiring and applying to contest for councillorship in Sinted Ward. By the Gambia Constitution, only citizens are qualified for application to such office positions. Penda Esba's parents are known to me as they migrated from Casamas from a village called Sankandi Faraba, which is 13 kilometers away from my village, Sintet. Penda Esba herself was born in that village. Her father, by the name Samba Tidaba, migrated from the above-mentioned village as a result of family conflict and came to settle in my village, Sintet, without due process of nationalism. That is naturalization.
Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Tamba wrote in a petition seen by Kit Fatu. He argued that Chapter 111, Section 9 of the 1987 Constitution of the Gambia states that every person born in the Gambia of this Constitution shall be presumed to be a citizen of the Gambia by birth. He further states that Section 12, subsection 1 and 2 state that any person who has been an ordinary resident in the Gambia for a continuous period of not less than 15 years, who satisfy the conditions set out by subsection 2, may apply in such manner as may be prescribed by or under any act of National Assembly to be naturalized as a citizen of the Gambia. Yes, these conditions are stated. He said that the conditions referred to in subsection 1 are that the applicant is of full age capacity by the time of her parents' migration. This Penda was underage, such that she cannot apply for naturalization under her parents. Finally, Penda Esba, as of now, is married in the Casamas to one Yusufaba from a village called Jinani, seeking for his position in the Gambia, he states. In addition to notifying the Independent Electoral Commission, he made a request for the IEC to establish an independent inquiry into the eligibility of NPP's Sintet Ward candidate. I therefore want to notify the IEC on this matter to avoid foreigners intruding into our national matters. I will request the IEC to establish an independent inquiry into the legality of Penda Esba participating in our internal politics, he concluded.
So he got married to a Gambian?
No. He said to one guy in Casamas.
Did he, in Casamas?
Yes.
The guy he married to?
Yes.
Is in Casamas?
Is in Casamas, to one Yusufaba from a village called Jinani.
Jinani in Casamas?
Is in Casamas.
But Penda is living in the Gambia?
Yes.
His parents were from Casamas?
They migrated.
They migrated from Casamas.
Yeah,
Penda herself was born
in that village.
In that village.
That when they were migrating into the Gambia, she was underage.
Yeah.
So meaning she cannot naturalize.
Yeah.
Under the laws of the Gambia, she
After,
cannot naturalize.
after 15 years, there is no record that shows that they naturalized.
Yes. There's no record that shows that they're naturalized.
So,
maybe perhaps she might, you know.
So fekkoon ne kim seyal Gambian la. Do need that 15 years.
No.
7 years la mo need.
Yeah.
From the day bim say ak that Gambian. Dafa need 7 years. After 7 years, then she's eligible to have Gambian citizenship. More than follow process, but then you joko citizenship. That's 7 years. So they say la. Then so they say lo. So if you just 15 years la. So mom limo wax moy amul dara luy wone ne kii dafa naturalized.
Yeah.
Following the due process or whatever. Anyway, it's interesting. I think complaint bi lu ñu wara gestu la.
Well, there
Then
you
you
go.
wanna
Like
get
he
because-
rightfully said, we cannot allow foreigners to intrude in our national matters. If at all she is not a Gambian.
Yeah.
If at all these facts that he presented at the IEC are true,
But
then I see no reason why the IEC will terminate her nomination.
Even before all that, my question is, why would someone be brave enough to a council or whatever? So it's difficult, sir, because last time you get accused of some people during the voter registration of having Gavin documents. They were only here 5 years or 6 years or 7 years because of people were accusing them of doing that. So and then we looking at the relationship between Fonyi and Casamance doo xam sax kan mooy kan, for example it's just one people. So su nekkee ne yow ñëw nga ci dëkk bi nga am kayit then da ngaa fàtte sax li la fi indi yow fan nga jógee, da ngaa jàpp ne yow Gambien nga, coow li bari because yow am nga that influence rek nga ne da ngaa dem nekk kansilo. So ñi la xam démba ñooy gestu sa démba. dan suñ ko gestoo nag ñooy waral ñu génn taxaw dañoo wax waaye su fekkee ne Penda affaire am daal dañ ko war a lijjante. Yeah, lu ñu war a lijjante la because waruñ ko bàyyi noonu rek because am na ku ko accuse of something then dañ war a seet lan la. Yep.
Most definitely. And moving on, the mayor of Kanifing, that is Mayor Bensouda, has said that being subjected to public scrutiny is part of his responsibilities. It is quite a pleasure to be here with you today, and of course, we would like to thank you for attending this very unprecedented program called Ask the Mayor. Definitely, I am proud to be amongst you, he said. Like I told you, he had this Ask Your Mayor for the very first time in the history of the Gambia, where a mayor would call its people to come ask him questions about, his developments and for the previous years that he has been in power throughout, and it was successful, I'm telling you. And he said it is definitely important for him to have an interface with people in his constituency, which is the Kanifing municipality. He said, we just met 19 wards and 19 communities, so it is prudent. Why don't we also meet one of our most important constituents, which is the best and the brightest, the students of the Kanifing municipality. So I am here to answer every and any question you may have with some limitations, but I am today at your service. Okay, there were limitations. Like you said, you asked yesterday whether did he answer every question, but he said there were limitations. He said it himself. He took numerous questions from the students of the University of the Gambia, the Media Academy for Journalism and Communication, the Gambia College, the Management Development Institute as MDI, etc., in an event that lasted for over 2 hours. And it was highly interesting between the students and the mayor. During the question and answer session, Mayor was asked to inform the audience about his councillor's plans and efforts to relocate the Bakote dump site. Very, very important, because Charlie, but in a law.
Yep.
In response, Mayor Bensouda highlighted a number of developments in his councils. His council has put in place at the dump site, including the fencing and the construction of concrete roads at the site. He acknowledged that the Bakote dump site is by far the biggest health crisis in the Gambia. Very well. It is close to schools, surrounded by communities, surrounded by SOS, which is a children's orphanage, and a hospital. Because
there's a hospital.
However, Mayor Bensouda told the gathering that the Bakote dump site problem, unfortunately, cannot be solved completely by his council, which I agree, because it's a problem. I don't think the KMC itself can solve that problem, because it has to do with, allocating another land to be able to dump rubbish there, and that has to be done by the Ministry of Local Governments and Lands. So the ministry, the KMC itself.
That's not to this. Issue because board bi ñepp nga settle.
Exactly.
Ban space nga am, like a space that long large space boy muna am pour def a dump site. dafa nekk issue because foo ko des na tuuti foo ko yóbbu rek yaa ngi ko yóbbu ci nit ñi nga ko yóbbu. I'm telling you, because àll bi su nekkee xam nga àll bi area bi moom mooy loolu.
Most definitely.
Yeah, foo ko yóbbu tam soo fa fekkut ay nit 5 years si kanam nit ñi dañ ko dem ba sis ko.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Yeah, and about this Ask Your Mayor questions, a lot of people are saying it is politically motivated, or perhaps he's looking to canvass more votes. It's just, his campaign, it's part of his campaign, for people to say, okay, the mayor is trying, is doing well, look at this, no one has ever done it. Come like politically like that.
And you think people won't think that way?
Even I had thought about
exactly.
it. Yeah. I'm like, okay, elections banging.
Happened last year.
No.
Happened the year before last?
No.
Must not happen. Why now?
The first time.
Why now?
Yeah, that's the big question.
There is it. It's just like Commission B. It's just like the Commission. People are saying, Hamga, they're not against the Commission, but they're against the timing of the Commission. Because ñëpp xam nañ ne am na some irregularities in a council, corruptions or whatever, so they need to be investigated. Yes, we agree. But the timing of the Commission is the problem. That's what people would say. And the same thing, being a reader, obviously, you think people won't say the same thing? They will. Because last year, year before last, despite the fact that, he is some people's darling, he is young, energetic, he is bright, he had a very bright future, whatever, nangam nangam, that's okay. But for this one, why now?
Yeah, it's a big question to ask right now. Anyways, we move on to sports news. This one is an opinion by our very own Sarah Kamara, because this is an issue that has been heated. If you follow Gumfood Transfers on Instagram and Facebook, they posted an audio of sport pundit Ibrahim Akampo Jata, our very own, revealing very, very, good issues that Coach Tom Sanford had in his team. He called up players that are not playing in teams. They are not playing football at all.
Not week in, week out. They're not playing at all.
They're not playing week in, week out like other players are playing. They are players without clubs that he has called to the national team.
Do we know the likes of who and who?
Right now, I don't know the players of head.
Of head, yeah.
Yes, but I listen. It's quite a number. Buba Sane is one of them.
Yeah.
He's not with. He's without a club.
Yeah.
Buba Sane does not have a club and has been called up by Coach Tom Sanford. And Campo for about Chuka is about Modu Jaji. Elias Chuka. He he wanted to play for Guinea-Bissau. He has both nationalities.
I know.
Yeah. Everyone knows about that. He wanted to play for Guinea-Bissau. But Ibrahim Akampo Jata, cajoled him to come play for the Gambia because this is where he was born. This is where he was brought up, among other issues.
He was my player.
He could Bakote.
Yeah,
he's from Bakote.
He's from Bakote.
Yeah.
But he played for Pincha Football Club of the Pakunda.
Yes. And, Campo cajoled this young guy to come play for the Gambia, which he did during our qualifiers and all. He played. He's a very good defender, I'm telling you. He's playing week in, week out in, high-level clubs in Sweden. And his newest team right now in Europa. He played in top level in Sweden and now in Slovakia's Europa Conference League. He's very talented. And Coach Tom Sanford did call him in his provisional squad list. Even before he was not going to even make it to the professional squad list, but because of Campo's influence and all, he made it to the professional squad list. And now he's not in the final 25. And we have footballers in that list whom he is doing much better than, whom are players that do not have a club. And he is playing week in, week out, doing so well. He's one of the football players that I follow.
And he was not called.
And he was not called. Now, Sarah Kamara wrote, he said, "It is deeply disappointing to hear about the unfair and unjust decision made by the Gambia national team coach Tom to drop Chuka from the team. Chuka's impressive record of playing in top-level leagues in Sweden and now in Slovakia's Europa Conference League makes it clear that he is a highly talented and accomplished player who deserves a place in the national team. It is unacceptable that players without clubs are being chosen over players like Chuka who are playing at a much higher level. The national team should be a representation of the country's best players, and it is crucial to select players based on merit and performance, not just personal connections. Furthermore, it is concerning to hear about the possibility of bias and favoritism being involved in the coach's decision to drop Chuka. As a coach, Tom has a responsibility to be impartial and make decisions based on the best interests of the team, not just his personal relationships with certain players. The fact that Chuka chose to represent Gambia over Guinea-Bissau makes it even more disappointing that he was betrayed by the coach for no apparent reason other than bias and friendship with other players. Such behavior is not only unprofessional, but also harmful to the team's success and morale. In conclusion, it is crucial that Coach Tom is held accountable for this unfair decision to drop Chuka from the national team. Chuka deserves to be given a fair chance to showcase his talent, and merit-based selection should be the only criteria for choosing players to represent the Gambia national team. Even before I was involved in sports, there have been news that Coach Tom selects players based on the friendship he has and the one that he finds favor in. Those are the players that he selects in the national team squad. Now, I think Chuka deserves to be in this team as much as every other player out there, because this is a player that, received a lot of backlash, a lot of insult from Guinea-Bissau, having choose the Gambia over them. Not just that, he's talented. He's playing week in, week out. And there are some players in the team that don't even have a team. And I saw some comments on Facebook saying, okay, is the coach's team. He knows what he wants. He is the decision to put in whosoever he wants in the team. But do not put in people that have not been playing. Some of them are there that have not been playing since Africa Cup of Nations 2021. They have not been playing. They have not even kicked a ball, to be honest.
That will definitely surprise some people who knows Chuka very well and people that are following Chuka, watching his games. We are talking about a very talented player here, someone who is very aggressive, someone who is very physical, someone who is very tactical. I know Chuka very well when he played for, Pencha Football Club, and then later, can you imagine, even then, Chuka was the darling one. People would come to the Navetan just to watch how Chuka plays.
Yeah.
Understand? Having someone like that, seeing national team, would be a blessing to us. So speaking and you go by the players so they're not playing, it is disappointing. I am not even saying those players are not playing. No, even if they are they better than Chuka? That's what the question is.
Most
because
definitely.
then Chuka, how impressive his games were. So obviously, that number of games under your belt, understand? Having playing time. So obviously, you deserve to be called.
Most definitely.
Lena mom, it's gonna discourage some other people as well, especially when you have the opportunity to play for another country. Then I'm afraid Mungajal the example of Chuka.
Yeah.
Now, if I should go, I hope ne little Chuka do
Nindef Chuka Dumadal, exactly.
So that is something else. We need to. Anyway, they're right about Tom's. It's his team or Hamlan Labuga. Yes, fine. But we are saying call the right players. Call players that have minutes under their belt. Call players that are playing week in, week out. If you go to selection Musa fair, you go to Europe, even selections is that they buy players so the people will complain why they were not called. Just it will happen. But the mix oil the team. It happens during the last of corn when Ibrahim Sona was called, and then many people were saying Lamota go nangam.
Yeah.
I'm going team and no.
Exactly.
But anytime he comes, he delivers. Even better than those that got a team. So how much the same thing la buga in the what fini, maybe Timba, my Buba, is it Buba?
Yeah.
Buba didn't have a team, but yet still Munna rely on his service, Munna rely on his whatever. Munna amlula mojel, but that is not the right thing. The right thing is to call players that are playing week in, week out, the players that have so many minutes under their belt.
Most definitely. Let's just wish them luck as
Yeah.
they face Mali on Friday, and of course on the 28th when they return to Morocco to play our double head like that. And that will be all for what's trending on social media. Let's see.
All right. Thank you so very much. I just hope Regne. Are we going to? Do you have any information of sending our fans to go and cheer up the boys?
Well, I heard something like that yesterday, but I'm not quite sure because
Okay.
I've not seen the GFF announce something like
Okay.
that, so I'm not quite sure.
Okay. Yeah, at least little more again, because if not, Mali and Damaragal di open use start be. We need to look back to see we
Yeah.
have some Scorpion fans club cheering.
Yeah,
up the
I
boys
think
and-
Gambians are all over the country. See,
Yeah.
all over the world rather. They were in Angola, they were in Egypt.
Yeah,
but the number of the supporters that matters.
That's what I'm saying, because you all over the world, but I'm not going to suffer them. You only have handful of supporters.
Yes.
So if you talk of Mali, they're bigger than us. Ñooñu open it, ñooñu open fu nekk. So most likely ñoo open stadium because ku la open it open lu nekk moo la gën a tukki.
Most definitely.
So kooku laa gën a bari si yeneen African countries yi ak yooyu noonu. So obviously ñoo dominate. So xam nga it will cost fortune,
Yeah,
but
it
we
will
have to
cost.
transport, to at least to send this fans to go there and cheer up the boys.
Most definitely.
That number will add up to the numbers we have there, because I'm Gambians in Nekafo, obviously,
Most
and
definitely.
other nationals as well. I'm Gambia at heart would definitely come to support the Gambia, not only Gambians. I'm in a relationship with certain Gambians, so they will come together to cheer up our boys. But at least you transport in supporters, you them for that should be part of the plans.
Yeah.
And so if a guy cheer up the boys. So thank you so very much.